Hey folks, Eric is whatever guy, because it really is whatever's me. And do you folks want to know about this storm brewing for the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission? You guys stick around, man, and we'll talk about that. As you guys know, my name is Eric. I am the whatever guy, and I usually shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world of Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp cannabis, just what's going on around. But today, man, sitting here bullshitting around on early Monday morning. I'm not gonna lie about it, guys. There's actually a couple of news articles that I actually wanted to go over. One of those is the new bill that is being pushed through for a 10% cap on THC. If they actually put rec on the ballot in November. So that's a crazy situation over there. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're probably going to do that tomorrow. So you guys stick around for a really cool video tomorrow we're going to do on that. And today we're going to talk about this obviously the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission debacle. As we've talked about this many times on this channel, we've got a bunch of lawsuits that are coming forward. We're going to switch over here to an article over here at, I believe this is over at the Alabama Reporter. It is Alabama. It's alreporter.com, and this is by Bill Britt. And I have to wonder if Bill Britt is watching my videos, because I have been the only one that has called this debacle a debacle from the very beginning, and he calls it a debacle in this article here. But he points out some really cool things in here, and actually brings up some stuff that the other articles aren't bringing forward. As you guys know, we already have a TRO in place for the medical marijuana dispensaries. We have one in place for the integrated facilities. These arguments, in my opinion, are what's going to bring forward probably the nullification and the voiding of the AMCC commission itself, or at least that's the goal. I mean, they got, the Will Webster and those guys for the AMCC, the lawyers for the AMCC, they have never worked in cannabis before, and he's a really inflammatory type of lawyer that they have going on for the AMCC, and he really doesn't know what's going on with cannabis, and he's been played like a drum by Will Somerville and those guys from the applicants' lawyers. Like they literally got them to change the rules for the whole process, drop the scores, and then came back on the other side and got a TRO because they dropped the stores. And that just tells you that this process has been screwed up in the very beginning. The AMCC cannot seem to get it right. And it appears to me that they're caught in a crossfire. Like, they're literally caught in a crossfire. They've got lawsuits on one side of it, begging for the removal of the scores. They've got lawsuits on the other side of it, bringing the scores back up. And they just have not followed their rules, or the rules that were laid down by the legislature from the very beginning to have these conversations out in the open. This has just been a screwed up situation from the very beginning. So we're going to take a look at what Mr. Bill Britt has to say about this. Says Montgomery Court's action in cannabis case may signal a brewing storm. And this is my opinion of the two. It says, in a recent and somewhat surprising move, Montgomery County Circuit Judge James Anderson opened the floodgates to a potentially stormy period for those entangled in Alabama's medical cannabis licensing saga. The decision to allow plaintiffs, including entities like INSA Alabama and Alabama Always, to conduct depositions is more than just a procedural step. It's a flare shot in the night sky that has been, until now, suspiciously dark. However, William Webster, a lawyer for the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission, is reportedly considering challenging Judge Anderson's order to allow depositions. Webster, in a private email rather than official channels sent to Judge Anderson and other lawyers, characterized the depositions as a fishing expedition. And let me just say this from the get-go. Like, it's interesting that William Webster sent this in a private email to the judge, not out in the open. And that seems the way that the commission has done everything up to this point. It's always been behind closed doors, always behind some sort of hidden channel. None of this has been discussed in the open. None of this is being brought out where people can see it. And that is the essence of the whole issue from the very beginning. And William Webster, the lawyer for the people, is making that even worse by going back channels to the judge. Like, why can't you just argue your points out in the open? He also questioned whether the plaintiffs even had a standing to bring the suit. This raises a more ominous question. What does the commission have to hide? Webster, known for inflaming previous court proceedings, seems likely to provoke the court further if he files his brief publicly. There's a saying in politics: one person's plan is another person's plot. And let me just say that one person's plan is another person's plot. And this has been Will Somerville's plot from the very beginning. In the convoluted and often opaque world of political machinations, the simplest way to unravel a knotty situation is by following the money. This adage seems particularly pertinent in the current debacle surrounding the AMCC's recent licensing decisions. While no direct accusations of foul play have been made, the process's opacity and chaotic nature have raised enough eyebrows to warrant a closer look. On December 28th, a hearing discussed various motions for preliminary injunction and temporary restraining orders, laying the groundwork for the court's latest ruling. The plaintiffs, all unsuccessful applicants for integrated facility licenses, have pointed fingers at the commission, accusing it of deviating from its own scoring rules in the licensing awards dated December 12th. Their argument hinges on the scarcity of licenses and the inefficacy of the commission's investigative hearing process without immediate injunctive relief. The court's response to these allegations has been swift and decisive. Effective immediately, the plaintiffs are allowed to conduct 6 depositions with just a 5-day notice, and all depositions must be wrapped up by January 19th. This is complemented by the authorization to serve 10 requests for production, 10 interrogatories, and requests for admission within a week, with responses due by the same January deadline. Guys, those commissioners are now going to have to come out of the woods and deal with this situation right here. That's a tight deadline. Like, that is a super tight deadline to find out on Thursday that you've got depositions and to have these done by January 19th. That's quick. Today is January 8th. They've got 11 days. It cuts right into their hunting. And you know what? And it serves them right, man, because they needed to get their greedy hands out of this a long time ago. This aggressive timeline set by Judge Anderson demonstrates a clear intent to shed light on the murky depths of this issue. The court has recognized that the plaintiffs have a reasonable chance of success, substantiating their claims and warranting immediate injunctive relief. This includes a temporary halt on any further actions by the commission relating to the controversial December 12th awards in the integrated facility license category. Each plaintiff has been asked to post a bond of $25,000, and a separate hearing will be set to address motions for preliminary injunction and additional discovery requests, which means, guys, that this is just a temporary restraining order. When they get on the other side of it, they're going to get the preliminary restraining order, and they're going to be able to ask for additional discovery. Like these depositions and these questions and all this evidence that they're asking for that the commission has to turn over within the next 11 days, that information is going to yield more information. It's going to basically bring up more questions. It's going to allow them an opportunity to see the inside of what's going on, and that's going to allow them to hone in on certain things and ask the judge, can they get some evidence on that right there. As we watch this drama unfold, one can't help but ponder the ramifications of this decision. The court's move, while appearing procedural, could be the harbinger of significant revelations and shifts in the medical cannabis landscape in Alabama. Those involved, especially the ones comfortable in the shadows right now, might now find themselves under a glaring spotlight, wrestling with the implications of a process that has suddenly become all too transparent. Guys, we've already had the FBI looking into this. We've already had the state's attorney general looking into this. And as far as investigations go, it appears that there's not a standard investigation right now, but they are poking their hands into this. There's a lot of crazy crap going on. My question to you is, if they weren't allowed to have discussions with these applicants before they made the votes, when they walked in there and they gave them that sheet and told them the number of those companies 1 to 33, how did they even have a clue what companies they were going to number 1 to 33? Like, if they hadn't had any conversations with any of these people, like, how did they know who they were going to vote for when they walked in the door? Because they certainly didn't tell us. Like, they certainly haven't put anything out there in the open where we can at least see or at least hear their discussions on this. But it appears, though, that these depositions, the way they're pulling, they're going to get, that's going to allow them to pull more evidence out of this whole situation right here. And it appears that we're going to be a long ways off from medical marijuana, guys. So you guys stick around for tomorrow's video on 10% caps in Florida marijuana. And y'all stick around for this right here, and we'll see what's going on in the coming weeks with this medical marijuana in Alabama. All right, folks, whatever, guys, signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Love you. See you.